Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in and joining us today for a great roundtable discussion. And we're talking about a topic that has been exciting the industry for some time and just continually keeps evolving and accelerating all sorts of and creating lots and lots of different commercial opportunities. We're going to be talking about what's driving the innovation of direct-to-film technologies and printing and the importance of RIP power. And to join me for that conversation, very pleased to have Michael Chramtchenko from Fiery. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Hello, everybody.
Okay. And then we have two members of the team from the Magic Touch. So very happy to welcome Roel van der Rey.
Hello.
And Bart de Jong. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Almost.
Okay.
Good enough.
Okay, that's great. Okay, well let's dive straight in. Okay. Mike, could you just give us a really brief outline of what you see, what's driving this transformation in D2F printing from traditional methods to cutting-edge digital solutions and how Fiery has stepped in there? We're obviously going to dive into all of the points later. Just a little summary would be great.
Well, I think the flexibility on garment printing has really kind of pushed direct-to-film printing into the industry more than anything else. You've had a variety of different types of short-run customized printing technologies available in the past. And in some cases, they were limited to what type of fabrics you could print on, the feel and the washability of the products as well. And I think direct to film really provides a great flexibility in terms of what type of materials you can print on. The color quality is exceptional, and overall the washability is very good as well. So really, direct to film in itself as an application has really provided a lot of advantages to short-run customized printing.
Has direct to film been in the marketplace, Mike?
We dove in right around 2019, 2020 during the COVID times. It was almost a perfect storm for a market to develop like that, and we got in very early on. We saw a great deal of conversation going on around this new technology online on very many social platforms. And really, direct to film was driven entirely by social platforms. That market it exploded on social platforms. We were fortunate enough to pay attention to it, thought that we had a great technology that we could jump into, and have been involved since the very early days of direct to film. So approximately 5 years.
Great. So you have the lead here, definitely.
We definitely do. We have a lot of experience and history based over that 5 years as well.
Yeah, you do. That's fantastic. Bart, could you give us a quick outline of the Magic Touch and how you have moved into direct-to-film printing technologies?
Yes. We are a company that started almost 35 years or more than 35 years ago with the invention of transfer paper for color laser machines. At the time, that was a copier. Of course, evolving to printers in the meantime, smaller and bigger. And we invented transfer paper that allows the user to transfer the image of that machine onto all sorts of materials, of which garments, of course, take a large piece. But surprisingly, many other materials and products can be printed with the same basic technique and same basic machinery. And from that, of course, doing that for many years, evolving with the machines, we evolved in many directions in that same market, HTV, heat transfer vinyl being one. And of course, with the capability of being able to print on garment, DTF, as soon as it came up, aroused our interest. And we've been very closely looking at it, trying to find an angle in that market that suits our customer base. And that's probably why we were not the first to jump on the train, because The first solutions were more suited to bigger companies doing large numbers, and that's not typically our customers. We have a lot of starters or smaller companies doing smaller runs and having smaller the need for a system that's adaptable in that. And now with the latest technology, we've been able to come up with a machine that really suits that marketplace very well, and that's how we entered the DTF market.
So you've entered the market when you feel the technology meets the true specifications of the market.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. We've always been a company that's been looking very closely at quality, both of our transfer papers, but also of the machinery that we sell, because we believe that there's not much use in selling machinery just for the sell of it. First of all, there's not much revenue in machinery. We like the customer to be happy with machine, and especially happy with our media, be it transfer paper or other. So that was also what we looked for in a DTF machine. It had to be adaptable in that marketplace when it comes to servicing, and software, of course, being a very important part of that as well, as I'm sure we will discuss today. So that's how we ended up with this configuration. Yes.
Well, with such a long history in the industry, you are perfectly primed to know exactly what the customer needs, and you can see and see the problems and the issues and the challenges they're going to have ahead of time, can't you, as well?
Yes, yeah. That's also what I think. It's exactly that kept us from jumping on it immediately, as we wanted to address those issues first. Yes.
Okay. Mike, I'm tempted to go back to you here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go over to Roel. I'm going to ask him the first question because it's really interesting to hear. You will speak very much as well from the customer perspective, what your customers actually need. So let's dive into the first topic. What are the biggest challenges that the businesses face in adopting DTF printing, and how can they overcome them?
Well, what we get from the customers that they really want quality. It's they need good colors, good quality prints, so to say. So, for that, you need, of course, a good printer, but also good software that can handle the colors. And they want to have it basically as simple as possible, at least our customers, as they are not really always handy with Photoshop or CorelDRAW, or they just want to have a picture, put the picture in the software, print and press it on the shirt. They don't want to spend time because they don't have a graphic designer in-house. They just want to press print, press it on the shirt, and be done with it. So that's what we're looking for.
Seamless solutions.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, over to you then. From your side of things, where do you see the key challenges that Fiery has stepped in and continue to accelerate your software and the R&D of your software to address those issues?
Well, I think most people that are familiar with Fiery know Fiery as a provider of digital front ends, as we call them, the software. And really essentially are color management specialists. So Fiery has a long history within a variety of very high-end color markets, i.e. proofing can be one example. For example, nothing is much higher end when it comes to color management and color accuracy than proofing. So Fiery has extended actually that same type of color management expertise across the entire portfolio of digital front ends. For the purpose of this call, when we're talking about direct to film, I agree completely with what Bart and Roel had said previously, and that is that as this market evolves, it's becoming more and more competitive. So people at the entry level that are coming in, and especially at the higher level, higher volume levels as well, all require consistent, very accurate, good color. And it really starts with that. I mean, if you can have all of the different workflow tools. If the color's not right, then all of the other features don't matter anymore, right? You really need, it all starts with color accuracy. It's really where Fiery has its expertise. Its core strength is in color. And then as far as the direct-to-film customers are concerned, ease of use is super important at the early stages, and we can talk about little resources that we provide as well to entry-level customers as well, as far as learning resources and support resources as well. But ease of use is super important, and what they want, everybody has the same dream when they're entering the direct-to-film market. They want to start off at entry level, and they want to grow their business and end up doing good volume along the way. So the software also has to be very scalable. So easy to use at the beginning, out of the box immediately, and then with the opportunity to grow with the business without having to change software to accommodate the needs of success.
Do you think as well, like, so a lot of people have stepped into D2F as an alternate technology within an already existing garment decoration workflow, haven't they, as well? So do you think they're doing that? Bart, we'll come back to you on this question here. Are they doing that so that what the issue in doing that, I guess, is that they need to find something that isn't labor intensive, because they're adding something for speed. It needs to be quick.
Yeah, that's something I think in all segments of the marketplace will be significant, whether it be the bigger customer or the smaller. Speed is increasingly important. No one buys anything anymore that he needs in a month. They need it tomorrow, and preferably this afternoon late if it's possible. So yes, that's very important. I think.
And it needs to be up and running. I mean, people almost expect to literally plug it in and start production, don't they?
Absolutely, yes. And that's one of the challenges that we face, because one of the great things about toner is that it does exactly that. You plug in your printer, you heat up your heat press, and boom, you're in business. And especially in the beginning with inks, things were a little bit more complicated. So that was one of the challenges that we wanted to crack before we started with DTF, a machine that's well, almost as easy to use as toner, as near as can be, and that's something that we've achieved with the modern ink technologies. And again, a software that fits with that purpose. Especially like Roel said before, our customer base have many customers that don't have any background in printing. They're not too familiar, or in many cases not familiar at all with specialized software, and they don't want to bother about spot colors and white layers, and they just want to put in the file that were given by their customer, put it in the software, press print, and that's the closest thing we've come now with the setup that we have.
Great. I'll take a point from that, Mike, then. Scaling personalization. I think D2F is accelerating at speed because the market is accelerating at speed towards personalization. So where do you find the Fiery, the person that's new to Fiery, and how has the software been developed to make it, to invest in making it as almost seamless and as easy to use as possible?
Yeah, so I guess you're referring to, what's also known as basically plug and play, right? You want to, plug the software and you want to receive your printer, you want to plug the software in and you want to print it, almost similar to what your desktop printer can do at home, making it that simple, right? Your office printer at home. And I think, circling back to color just for a second, because it's so important, basically Digital Factory provides software that can be used immediately. There's color profiles that are included, custom factory color profiles based on what our partners are using within the software. And there's also some very simple color correction tools. So those users that Bart was referring to earlier that are not sophisticated when it comes to color management can quite easily modify, increase saturation. They don't need to have a degree in color management to be able to make the small modifications that'll tweak their prints to be the best possible output that they can achieve. And I think from that perspective, I think Fiery and Digital Factory, the Digital Factory portfolio of products within direct-to-film space provide a lot of different other tools as well in terms of getting things out fast, and without a great deal of expertise, such as automatic white underbase, for example. I think it was touched on earlier as well. People don't want to be able to have to understand how to create a white layer underneath their image or things of that nature.
Exactly.
And so we very much designed that the software in mind, keeping that in mind, making sure that all of these types of laborious tasks or tasks that required some level of expertise were actually handled within the software and automatically to the end user.
It's interesting, isn't it, then? So your customers, and Bart and Roel as well, are also their skill set and their knowledge. The knowledge gap that they arrive with is being solved by the software that they choose. And then they're incrementally growing their knowledge on that bedrock of what Mike and his team have been doing for years.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not only the software, it's more also the combination between the software and the printer.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
It needs to be simple. And needs to be click, 2 clicks, and it needs to be printing.
One of the things that I have noticed massively in DTF, and I was very lucky to be at an Epson Open Day a few months ago with one of the fiery team from Europe. And he took me through how the software, I was really taken by the quality of the printing across different design and different design styles. And he took me right all the way through talking about the inline highlight and the white and how fiery is creating almost like a raster pattern for certain things as well, so that you are being really careful. You're only using ink where you need to use ink. And what you're doing is trying to and achieving the most beautifully finished product. So it's the perfect balance of printer and software, isn't it, really, to bring the two together to make a beautiful product. Because from my point of view, DTF early on kind of unfortunately got a little bit of a bad rep because you were getting really kind of sticky or really heavy surfaces on the t-shirts. Would you agree with that, Roel?
Absolutely, yes. In the beginning, also the inks has been changed in the meantime, but you can make really nice designs, and I think you're referring to the rasterization of a product. So if you have a big plaque on your shirt, if you don't, it can be very stiff. So there are some great features in the software where you can make it like fine tune it, make it smaller, so it doesn't feel so bad on your shirt. Yeah. Great.
Mike, could you take us through that and explain that, because it's so sharp, and it was an incredible piece of software.
Yeah, it was one of the early lessons we learned when we started providing software solutions into the DTF market, and that was our customers were telling us that when comparing it to screen printed images or direct to garment images, that the feel was a little bit heavy, almost like the old iron-on transfers. And so aside from the aesthetic component of it, as Roel as well as Bart touched on earlier, in terms of making the design look much more elegant, much more vibrant, color accurate, and actually fitting into the actual garment that it's being printed on. And I can touch on that in a second. We tried to create color management profiles that would actually reduce the amount of ink that was being put onto the transfer in order to make that feel as natural as possible and not intrusive as possible. And that was a big challenge. We were pretty much the first software company to do that. And there's a variety of ways in which we can do that. Obviously, laying down less ink where it's not necessary, based on on transparencies and things like that. Adjusting our white levels depending on how transparent the image is, and reducing the amount of white ink that is required in certain areas, as well as the rasterization feature that you're talking about. And that essentially is just putting down no ink in certain areas of the garment where possible, so it doesn't obscure or doesn't interfere with the actual overall print. It's basically seamless. Nobody sees it at all. And it's all done behind the scenes. The software calculates it, where the rasters need to be put, where all that type of patterning can be put so that the eye can't see it. The end user does not have to understand how to do it themselves. It's almost basically done automatically within an image when we look at the image and decide how we're going to handle that particular feature.
Yeah, it's super, super, super important. Perhaps, Bart or Roel, could you share a kind of real world example of a customer that springs to mind that their business has really scaled and grown using D2F alongside Fairy technology? Don't have to
Yes.
mention names,
No,
or you can. It's up to you.
I'm really bad with names anyways. One important thing is that we've just recently started with DTF. Now, with DTF itself, we've been flirting with the technology for a while. Um, there are, I think, the most important thing for our customers is where the growth is in the area of exactly what Mike just explained, the look and feel, being it completely freestanding, if that's a proper English term. That's always something that everybody wants, but is hard to achieve in the entry level. We do have great transfer solutions for that, but DTF is kind of the next step, as it's cheaper for the customer to produce. So that's something we've seen on basically any customer that starts with the DTF printing, that immediately generates grow and more versatility.
Well, what we also see is that the customers, they buy in their own DTF, so they buy it from the
Yeah.
meter or from the roll, and are just not satisfied with the results because
Yep.
colors
Yep.
are off, it washes or the washing is bad, so they want to take back control of their own production. And that's where most of our printers go now, to just the shops that are, they don't want to wait for the courier, they want to have control about their own production. So we see now that people just buy this printer and just for, okay, I just want to have this control because I cannot trust the other guy that makes my transfers now, because one time it's good, one time it's bad. And now with this whole package, the printer and the software, they just have their control back. They know the colors. They know uh, the end result. So that's what the main purpose is now for us. The main
It's
goal.
important.
That's an interesting touch. Sorry, Debbie. It's
No,
a
no, no,
very
no.
interesting
Carry on,
point
Mike,
because
because I was going to throw this question to you as well, because it's really interesting when you talk about people outsourcing the D2F and then bringing it in. Because if you've got one client and you're trying to match a logo to a T-shirt or a hat or whatever it is that you're actually printing, look, consistency is so important here, and that's I was going to hand that to you,
Yes.
Mike.
yeah, I mean, just to circle back to what Roel was saying, is that the type of turnkey solution that the Magic Touch offers is really imperative in the direct to film space because, um, you know, they can buy different films, they can buy different powders, they can buy different inks online. And there are so many variables involved in the application of the image
Yes.
that if you really want to have consistent, high quality results, you buy a solution which is a turnkey solution where all the variables remain the same, right? And from that standpoint, the printer is the same. The Magic Touch has tested all of the inks, all of the transfer material, all of the powder. Everything works, and the software is fine tuned to support that solution. So that's the way that you get true results. You know, you can go online and try and buy all the bits and pieces here and there, but really the proper way to do it is to buy a turnkey solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially in a
Absolutely.
space that's as sensitive as a color printing space.
Yeah. You don't know if somebody else does it. One week he has this film, the next week he has another film. It's just it's
The
so
Wild West.
yeah, it's the Wild West.
Yeah. Yeah.
Play that, yes.
And it's
Yeah.
what we hear from
We
customers
actually
coming to us. Yeah.
we learned
They
that
want
through
to give the
experience in
control
the
back.
early days. Yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely,
did I.
guys. I mean, it was something in the early days. People were retrofitting printers. Everything was being sold online through eBay and all these other areas, right? You buy your bits and pieces everywhere. And of course, it was very hard to be a software vendor in those early days because how do you dial in the color with so many variables out there in the market? So working with partners like the Magic Touch is really something that's important to us.
Yeah, it's super
And
important. That's how you retain your credibility and your customer loyalty. With that, those standards have to exist.
yeah. That's why a partnership is so vital. You cannot just stick a piece of software which you find somewhere on the back of the printer, so to speak, and expect it to work well. It just doesn't work that way, and that's often underestimated. And that's exactly what gives you the inconsistent results and what people. Coming to us, like Roel said, the experience they have with DTF is what they bought from other producers. And if the color red of the logo from their customer is different than the transfers they bought a month ago, then it doesn't work.
That's right. And they say that only 10% of customers complain, the rest just disappear. And then, people find that they're losing market share but can't understand why. Quality and consistency is why, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think in today's markets, everybody expects excellence. There's no way back from that.
And they drive each other nuts because everybody you can buy it cheaper there, and then they move and they're cheaper there, and then they go because everybody wants to print.
Yeah, but what's that balanced against a lost customer in their account?
Yes.
And that the whole comment on cheaper here and cheaper there is so important to address, because I've never been a big believer in discounting product, right? I think that people will pay for good quality, and that's further emphasis on why it's so important to have consistent, high quality products going out the door, because you can keep your price point at that point, right? And you're able to provide quality at a fair price, but not necessarily have it in a price battle with every competitor out there.
Exactly.
So it's super important. Yeah, absolutely.
And you offer our customers, we offer them by doing so, we offer them the same opportunity to do with their quality. Offer high quality, consistent colors to their customers on the T-shirt, which in the end works the best.
Your supply chain is so important. I guess one of the big questions, it's a good segue really in here, is towards eco-friendly software as well as materials as well, because sustainability, Roel, you touched on it earlier, regulation, certification across the world, different certifications in each different pocket and demographic of the world. People are nearshoring, reshoring, being able to print your own products in-house is becoming more and more common because of all of those things. How important is sustainability to your customers? Is it front of mind?
Yes. Well, it's especially the last 2-3 years. There's a strong. We noticed that the demand and questions about sustainability become increasingly higher. Yes.
Most definitely. Mike, can I come to you on that question as well? Could you perhaps pinpoint how Fiery software is aiding companies to produce and manufacture more sustainably?
Yeah,
what are the highlights?
Sorry, go ahead, Deb.
No, you go. No, the highlights. What are the main things that Fiery is addressing to reduce waste across the actual process of D2F?
Well, I think it's just what you touched on. It's to reduce waste. And so the software basically will have certain features in it that reduce possibility for errors, operator errors. So we're automating the process as much as possible from the beginning right through to the final print. So what that does is that obviously reduces any potential operator error, poor prints coming out, therefore reducing waste. We are trying as best as we can, as we mentioned, for a variety of reasons, not just the aesthetic or the feel of the actual print within DTF, but also from a sustainability support standpoint, reduce the amount of ink that's used, right? So, reduction in ink actually helps a great deal in a variety of different ways. And sustainability is one of them. So yeah, as far as reduction in material usage, with various features such as nesting and things of that nature, where you can group a variety of different prints as efficiently as possible on a single piece of film or a single roll of film, is super important. And this all contributes in the long run to being much more environmentally friendly.
Yeah. And the possibility to just click print and have a print that's correct. immediately, instead of making 10 copies, fiddling with the color adjustment to get the color right, the same as the last time, as with other systems often is experienced. That's not underestimated how much waste that and frustration, by the way, it is saved, because it's first time around, it's correct, and you can use it, and it's done and dusted, and that makes a big
And
difference.
you can save the job for later. There's many returning jobs coming, but not every month or every week, but every half a year. You just click import the last job and print out exactly the same. You don't have to check, you can save all the settings are there. So you don't have to waste time
And
and
materials.
materials to do exactly the same what you did half a year ago. So it's just very simple. There's also an option called raw data where you can exactly see what's coming out of your printer. If you're not sure, it just shows you a PDF instead of a printout. So less waste, better for better for the environment.
It's great, isn't it, really? All of those obvious things, but they're there in a really simple toolkit. Fantastic. Yes. It's really good. We can't finish without, we're okay for time, actually. We've got a few more minutes. Let's touch on e-commerce, because I guess this is just empowers everything to do with garment decoration and on-demand production. Mike, could you just touch on how easy and simple it is, obviously, for Fiery to empower customers to produce and sell their own products, whether it's direct to consumer, whether it's B2B?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier, that direct to film market really exploded in 2019, 2020. A lot of brick and mortar shops were closing due to COVID restrictions worldwide. And it created, it was an awful time, but there was a silver lining to e-commerce business, because e-commerce exploded during that time. People that were, no longer working due to the pandemic were working from home, starting e-commerce businesses. And it was a perfect scenario for the personalization and customization market to continue its skyrocketing growth. And so basically, as far as Digital Factory is concerned, that was a very big focus of ours early on, to integrate with as many e-commerce platform providers as possible. And we have some built-in tools within the software that basically tie in with various e-commerce platforms, where customers are able to filter certain jobs to different either workstations that we have set up, or different queues, depending on whether the shirt is or the garment is a black garment, a white garment, colored garment, different sizes. The software enables people to set up a variety of production queues that are automatically populated using some of our tools. We have one add-on module called Automatic Job Sorter, for example, which automatically, basically on file name, will route different files to different queues within the software. So that is a huge feature when coming and automating and simplifying the actual job flow via an e-commerce platform, right through the entire process, right into production. And there are a variety of other features that we have that enable that type of automation, including barcode reading and things of that nature as well, that help that whole process along. But we integrate with quite a few different e-commerce platforms, and it's completely seamless.
Interesting. Roel, have you got anything to add on workflow automation and how your customers are using that?
Yeah, for our customers, it's like I said before, just click print. Our setup is made as simple as possible. So,
I think one of the in e-commerce, one of the challenges customers face is that they get many different types of files, and the more you regulate this, the more you make it more difficult for the end customer to load up a file. Just the more versatile you are on handling file types, the easier it is to make a quick workflow. And in that respect, the software also helps. It's like we touched on before, the fact that you don't have to put a file into additional software to change it or to add layers or to take out black or whatever. It all can be done within the RIP software, and that makes a huge difference, especially with e-commerce, where you get all kinds of completely different, from logos to children drawings or whatever you can get thrown at you to print on a t-shirt.
Because it wouldn't it be economically viable, would it, really, to be doing all of that by hand with the amount of SKUs that an e-commerce, when you think like in D2F printing, you could be printing so many different things, hundreds
Absolutely.
of thousands and thousands of different motifs, printing them overnight. However you're doing it, you have to automate this, or it's either going to be way too expensive, or it's just not commercially viable at all, is it? Or on demand. And to compete, you have to be delivering the next day or the same day.
The same day.
The same day.
The goal,
preferably.
Yeah. Oh,
can I pick it up in an hour? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we're moving on to future trends. My first prediction for that was where you'll be delivering by drone shortly. But it would be nice to chat with all of you really then about the future trends. How do you foresee the D2F print industry changing, and then we'll move on to talk about how Fiery is preparing for that. So Roel, Bart, how is it changing? How do you see it moving in the next year, 2 years? It's moved so fast already.
Yes, well, coming from our side of the market, I think I think something that will evolve more in future is making the hardware even easier to use than it is now. We've already have made huge steps in that direction. Hence why we're on board. Things like maintenance, the white ink, sediment. These are issues that we've already solved in quite big steps, but there's still more to come in that respect, I think. And we've seen very big machines in the marketplace, but also I think on the smaller end of business, which is important for us. I think we'll even further evolve with more versatility and ease of use, and I think that's something that we'll see in the future.
Yeah.
Roel, anything to add?
So it's gonna be simpler printers, so to say, easier to use, quicker maintenance. And we hear the powderless, of course, but that will be on the larger machines, not on the entry machines. That will be further away, so to say. So for our market, it will be more easy, user-friendly. Software would be more easier to use. So just 2 clicks, it needs to go faster, it needs to go simpler, and that's what it will be.
Okay. Michael, what does the Fiery crystal ball look like?
From a digital front end perspective, automation was a term that was used quite predominantly for the last few years by really the higher volume producers, right? The people that are producing a lot of volume. What you're going to see is that automation is going to be more and more important at the entry level as well, right? And not only for ease of use, which is extremely important, but also try and remove as much operator, not interference, but operator use, if you will, within the software. So the whole automation feature set is extending and being equally as important, not just for the high volume users, but entry level as well. And the other item that we haven't talked about, and Fiery is working on some very, very exciting things, which I'm unable to talk about at the moment, but I'll tease you with it anyway, in the AI space, in the artificial intelligence space.
Yeah.
Of course.
Artificial intelligence, especially when we're talking about ease of use. Imagine this. Imagine a world where the software is able to set itself up. Imagine where the software can troubleshoot why a color is not coming out exactly as it should. Or imagine even still how software can actually analyze images and make color adjustments and things of that nature perfect. And so I think you're going to see a lot of AI coming up in a lot of different spaces. And Fiery, as usual, is right at the leading edge of that. And we are working on a variety of different AI-related type of features and solutions for our customers.
That's interesting.
You've told us everything now, Mike. In not revealing, you revealed everything.
Scoops.
Those are a few things. Those are a few things that have already been talked about in the marketplace, but we are working on a few very, very key features within the software that are AI.
There are already some of them already implemented in the software, where you can make your image already better. That's a great feature, because especially on the low end of the market, people get a shitty image called shit in, shit out, basically. But if you can now put the shit in and get get a proper printout, then that would be fantastic, of course.
That is correct. So, if an image, there are certain parts of an image. Let's say, for example, that you have an image that has an illustration in it and also has either a corporate logo or a photograph of people, for example. You may want that illustration on that particular print to pop and be extremely vibrant, but you may not want to apply that same color management onto the logo because you want it to remain a true fiery red or what have you. Same time, you don't want to increase the saturation or vibrancy of the picture of the people in that particular print, because you'll obviously adjust skin tones and won't look natural. So when you're talking about the fine line between vibrant, colorful images and color accuracy, that is a feature that we have built into the software. It's kind of our first, as Roel mentioned, it's pretty much one of our first AI-related type of tools that we've just released that is able to do that, and it basically analyzes that image. That's the only surprise that I've let out of the bag so far, but it's not a surprise anymore because it's available.
Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? Because as we are preparing the industry for a whole new generation of customers, we are also having to prepare our industry for a whole new generation of printers and manufacturers with the same expectations of technology and software, aren't we?
Yes,
correct.
Yeah, so much to do. Okay, I'm just going to move on to our final question. The importance of partnership, the partnership approach. And I guess we could speak about the partnership between the Magic Touch and Fiery and how important that has been over the years and how that has grown. And then Magic Touch as well, how important true partnerships are and how you support your customers.
Well, I think for us, it's pretty clear. This could not have worked any other way than with a partnership. It's like we said before, that there's such a big difference between solving the issues that we discussed in a partnership or just buying some piece of software from someone who is the cheapest on offer. And put it together with the printer. Fiery have gone through great lengths to adjust color profiles exactly fitting to our printer. That I think that's only can be achieved with a partnership and not with just buying any software. So I think from our point of view, that's the only way to go. Otherwise, we would not have even ever entered the DTF market.
And your partners work with you because you've built huge trust there as well in your customers.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's our customers expect that quality from us, and we have to deliver. And we wouldn't be able to do that without a partnership.
If we come out with a software, they know it's a good piece of software. So,
exactly.
No questions asked.
No question asked.
No, actually, no. Yeah, it's what they expect.
You pick the ideal partner.
Well, Mike, Fiery work very, very hard for their partners, don't they?
Absolutely. I think, at the end of the day, Fiery, we are software color management experts, right? We are digital front end experts. We don't sell turnkey solutions. We know that the best way for us to go to market is to partner with high quality hardware vendors. And so, that's been our strategy for many, many years, is selling through the channel. We work very closely with our partners. We develop software that is, we're able to tailor our software specific to their needs. We believe very much in local support that only our dealers can provide and the channel can provide. And so from that perspective, we offer as much support to our partners as possible because we realize how valuable they are. So we have, certification programs, we have e-learning programs, we have communities-based type of portal for end users to come and get additional help. We have a variety of social platforms that we use to help our partners, in terms of supporting their customers as well. And so from that standpoint, the partners that we do business with are of great value to us, and we'll do everything we can to support them moving forward.
That's great. The print industry couldn't exist in silos. Doesn't work, does it?
No, you see how many other DTF systems already disappeared off the market because there was no good software, was no good hardware. Only the best one will survive, and we truly believe that Fiery is the best.
The perfect note to end on.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for a great conversation today. I'm sure we could chat
You're
for
welcome.
a lot longer.
But
there is a limit to how long somebody will watch a video for. So unfortunately, we need to end here. But thank you so much for sharing all of your insights. It seems that the future is partnership, collaboration, AI, color consistency, and standards, isn't it, across the board, and all of that delivered efficiently, and gives your customers agility. And as Roel put it, input matches output. But if you use the best technologies in the world and you rely on your experts and knowledge base, then you're going to build and grow your business, aren't you?
Yeah, and make it more simple. Just make it easier easier.
How could I have missed the word simple?
Simple, easy.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been a joy to talk to you.
My pleasure.
I'll make sure that everybody's details are in the show notes, that people can reach out and contact you with any questions that they have and inquiries. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.